Hello everyone, my name is Misty and today we're going to be coding the game of life in pure C with Raylib. So as you can probably tell, I've already tried recording this, didn't go to plan, so we're gonna just ignore it. But let's do an explanation of what the game of life is. So 4 rules. Rule 1, a live cell with less than 2 neighbors dies because not enough population, underpopulation. A live cell with 2 to 3 neighbors survives, because there's enough, it's fine, perfect. A live cell with more than 3 neighbors, it dies because it's overpopulation. And a dead cell with exactly 3 neighbors becomes alive because of reproduction. So that's it. That's the 3 rules. That's the 4 rules. But you can get crazy behavior from it. Very complex. And technically, it's Turing complete. So we're writing a compiler today, boy. But anyways, let's do this. So let's define some constraints. So for the window, each cell is like a certain width wide, obviously, or whatever. So we're just defining how many cells we want wide and columns, etc. So define cell size 10, define screen width, and we want to do cols times cell size, define screen height, rows times cell size, and then just define an FPS. We'll only do 10 because we don't really need it we don't need it really. It's not that complicated. So let's define a current and a next, and then we'll get to work on our first function. So let's do void randomize, and we'll just do a little for int r equals 0. Always forget to initialize. That'll fix itself, by the way, for you lot that are gonna complain to me for that. R is less than rows and r plus plus. Fix this, thank you. And then we'll do for int c equals 0. C is less than cols. C plus plus. That's funny. So, yep. Current RC equals rand modulo 4 equal to 0. So this means 25% of the time we'll get something alive. So divided by 4, modulo 4, so it means the remainder. So it'll be it'll be either 0 remainder. Yeah, so okay. It'll be 0 remainder, and then it'll be 0 remainder 25% of the time. Around 25% of the time. Which means, yeah. Anyways, void clear grid. We'll just do a memset current 0 size of current. And then int count neighbors. I can't spell neighbors, that's right, I think. In R, in C. God, I hate the autocomplete. How do I? Then here we want to do int count equals 0. For int dr equals -1. dr is less than or equal to 1. dr plus plus. And then we want to do for int dc equals -1, dc less than or equal to 1, dc plus plus. If dr is equal to 0 and dc is equal to 0, we'll just continue. Why does it not like that? FR and DR. Then we'll just continue. Then we're going to int nr equals r plus dr plus rows modulo rows. And then we'll just do the same thing. What I've just done. I'm meant to yank it. And we'll do int nc equals c plus dc plus columns modulo columns. Remove that space, and then we'll do count plus equals current nr nc. Yeah, and then we'll just return count. Cool. And then void step for int r equals 0. R is less than rows, R plus plus. So as you can tell, there's quite a lot of loops in this, because it is just one big loop, really, isn't it? We just check certain things every frame, and we do things depending on it. So that's why we're writing all these help functions. Did I spell that wrong? No, I didn't. Equals count neighbors r c int alive equals current c if alive. So this is where we do rule 1 and 3 and rule 2. Actually, this is where we do all the rules. This is my bad. Okay, so rule 1 and 3 dies if under or overpopulated. So next rc equals neighbors equal to 2 or neighbors equal to 3. So this basically means we're going to set it to it will survive if it's with 2 or 3. So we'll set it to true if it's with 2 or 3. Else it's just going to die if it's bigger than 2 or 3. So then else we'll do next rc. So if it's not alive, we'll check if, well, we'll just do neighbors equal to 3. So if it's 3, if it's got 3 neighbors, it will come back to life. Don't ask me how that works, it just does. Then at the end, we'll do mem copy current. Let me just do that. Current next. But yeah, also let me know if you want to see like an overlay with my keyboard presses, because I know a lot of people struggle with Vim keyboard presses or like Vim keybinds, and I'd be happy to just show mine if you're curious about what I'm doing. But let's write some Raylib now. So screen width, that's not screen width, screen height, and then game of life. Cool. Then we're gonna set target FPS. Then we're gonna randomize at the start, randomize. Then we're gonna set some variables. Int paused equals 0. So we're also going to have some buttons you can press. So it is kind of a game. It is interactive. It's not just a pure simulation. But yeah, so while window should, or while not window should close, that's a mouthful. If, this is where we do input. So if is key pressed, key space. Then we're going to do paused is equal to not paused. So we're just going to invert if it's paused or not. Then we're going to do if is key pressed PR. That will be randomize. Randomize. Have I just imported something? Nope. See, that's the thing with NVim. Sometimes, oh sorry, NeoVim. Sometimes it just I do a typo and it just imports something for me. Sorry, did not mean to do that, bro. And then if it's C, we're gonna clear grid. And then that's our input. Now we need to do some mouse stuff. So the way it's gonna work, don't ask what that is. But now the way it's gonna work, we can hold left click to draw like cells, and we can right click to erase cells. So if is mouse button down, mouse left, mouse button left, or is it mouse left button? God knows. I'm just gonna go with this. Is mouse button down, mouse button right, int mx equals get mouse x divided by cell size, int my equals get mouse y divided by cell size. If mx is greater than or equal to 0, and mx is less than cols, and my is less than or equal to 0, and my is less than rows. So then we're going to do current my mx equals is mouse button down, mouse button right. If that's true, then 1, else 0. Cool. Then we're just going to update. So we're going to do, nope, I missed, I went up too much. And then we're going to do if not paused, then we're going to step. And then we're going to draw. Okay, so we can do begin drawing from Raylib. Then we can do clear backgrounds, black, and do 4 int r equals 0. R is less than rows. We've seen this loads. This is like everywhere in the app. R plus plus. Then we'll do another one for the columns. Int c equals 0. C is less than cols. C plus C plus plus. If current RC, so if it's turned on, we'll just draw rectangle. C times cell size, R times cell size, width cell size minus 1, height cell size minus 1, color, let's go green. Cool. And then we'll do the HUD. So we can do, basically we just show them what's happening. So const char status equals paused. Then we'll do paused, else running. We'll do draw text, status, 10, 10, 20 font size, color. So we'll do, if it's paused, we'll go with yellow. Else we'll do like lime, let's say. And then we'll just draw text, the rest of it. So space, pause, R, these two spaces, R, randomize, C, clear, LMB, left mouse button, draw, RMB, erase. And then we'll do 10. Screen height minus, say, 25. Font size 12. Color gray. Spelled wrong, by the way. I'm English. And then we'll just end drawing. After this, we'll just go end drawing. And then out of the while loop, we can do close window and return exit success. This should be the whole game of life. Let's see this, shall we? Let's do GCC main.c. Oh no, we'll do GCC taco main.c tac l raylib /main. And it's on my second monitor, but here we are. This is the game of life. We can see running in the top corner. We can see the controls at the bottom. We can space to pause. We can resume. We can draw. No, we can't. Hello. Oh. Yep, we can draw. We can clear. We can randomize. And we can watch it. So yeah, this is pretty cool. Just because I'm curious, I'm going to play around with some values. Let's change columns, or let's change cell size to like 1. This should be pretty sick, actually. I need to compile again. Oh, now it's just really small. Okay. Let me change columns to like 1200 to balance it out. What was cell size before? Am I special? Why do we do the init window screen width, screen height, cols times cell size? So it'd be 1200 by 800. That's right. No? Oh, it's because I didn't recompile. And now it just doesn't do anything. Maybe because they're too small. Let me set it to like 5. There we go. That looks, I'm happy with that. That would be a sick background, actually. That'd be a sick wallpaper. Anyways, thank you for watching. It is actually a bit too big. It does kind of span across multiple monitors. Oh my god, hello. It's like an infinite scroller. That's sick. But yeah, this is the game of life. Thank you for watching, everyone, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.